We welcome you to Medford, Oregon for the 11th event of this PBA season. It's the Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic live from Lava Lanes. And it's an all-lefty first semifinal, teacher versus student matchup, as Rhino Page takes on his mentor, Patrick Allen, semi number 2, as two-time Player of the Year Parker Bohn III versus today's lone righty, the strapping 6'5" Wes Malott. Glad you're with us today alongside 13-time titleist Randy Peterson. I'm Rob Stone, and at the end of the season, we may look back on semifinal number 1 and say, man, we had Player of the Year versus Rookie of the Year. Player of the Year would be Patrick Allen. Today will mark his 4th consecutive top 4 finish.
That's some wave he's riding, and it started, like you said, 4 weeks ago. Patrick Allen proving his versatility as well, because he's doing it on different oil patterns week in and week out. Patrick Allen making his 4th consecutive appearance, the first time he's ever accomplished that feat in his career. He won the Lumber Liquidators Championship in December to start the streak, then finished 3rd in Spartanburg, and then last week 2nd in Reno. Allen's 5 TV appearances this season is 1 shy of his career high set back in 05-06. Oh, and by the way, you know, Tommy Jones beat Patrick Allen last week, but PA got a little revenge back when he took out Tommy Jones in the round of 32.
Now today he'll take on 24-year-old rookie Rhino Page. Page could throw nothing but gutter balls from here through the end of the season and still be handed the Rookie of the Year honors. That is how impressive this season has been, and the players are recognizing it, including his now close friend and the guy who's really kind of become his teacher, Patrick Allen. This is what Patrick Allen said to us yesterday in our meetings. Guys, pretty soon he'll be the best lefty out here. Big words from a big-time bowler about a young kid who has an awesome future ahead of him.
Yeah, it's quite the compliment. Rhino Page, you know, making 3 out of the last 4 telecasts is almost as impressive as what Patrick Allen's doing, because for the simple fact that he has to come out of the TQR rounds each and every week. He has to qualify just to get into the tournaments.
Come on, Page, the big lefty, has been on a tear lately, and if he wins, he'll take on the winner of semifinal number 2. 33 combined PBA titles between Wes Malott and the Hall of Famer Parker Bohn III. Take a look at our updated Denny's Player of the Year points race, and Patrick Allen, should he win in the semifinal, he would be tied atop that list with Walter Ray Williams Jr. A victory today, and he's all atop the Denny's Player of the Year points race. And Patrick Allen will start us off here in semifinal number 1. Another great crowd here in Medford, Oregon. This community really embraces the PBA.
Student versus teacher? Would it be like maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker? I don't know.
There may be a tie-in to that one. Well, Allen pretty openly dispenses advice to Rhino Page, and we'll tell you a little pointer he gave him this week coming up. Allen to start us off today. That's how we like to start.
Come on, Medford! That's right! You guys are the best!
Allen into it, and into it early.
This is called the switch zone, or the half pocket hit, and this can be your best friend when all 10 pins go down and you hit them a little bit light.
This is the first time Allen has faced Rhino Page. Every TV show Page has been on, Allen has been there, but they've yet to face one another.
Love it. Speaking of best friends, watch this. This could have been a disastrous split. Instead, Rhino's going to trip the 3-pin forward. And that's nice.
2 throws, 2 strikes to start us off in Medford. Patrick Allen watching Page. Great start.
Nice pitch there. This is 10 back. This ball hits the 1-2 pocket about as flush as you can hit him. Rhino Page is liking this start to semifinal number 1. Come on.
Allen made it to the finals last week in Reno and felt he was about 4 or 5 frames too late in making a ball change. Oh, this is a great showdown.
And getting back to the ball change, you'd mentioned last week he had like 6 or 7, 9 spares in that match. This is what he's looking for right here, is getting the ball to face up like that, and we are going to have some jawing going on in this match.
These two guys will be getting in a car tomorrow and driving to our next event outside of LA. They drove here from Reno. I mean, these guys are becoming tight buddies, and when you're a lefty on the tour, you know, you got to stick together, because there's the IHL group out there, the I Hate Lefty clan. So strength in numbers. Allen and Page.
Rob, you left-handed?
Not at all. I can barely hold a cup with my left hand. Heel. Oh! How dare you, 7-pin?
That's vicious, ringing 7. Check out the form, the steady head going into the foul line for Patrick Allen. Boy, he thought this was really good until the 4-pin just warped right around the 7.
First non-strike we've seen today. So Allen cleans that one up. We asked Rhino Page yesterday, you know, what's the best piece of advice you've gotten from PA? And he said, this week or you know, across the course of things. We said, all right, this week. And he said, Friday night. We had about 5 minutes of warm-up, and PA had a little Scotch-Brite in his hand, one of those kind of scuffers, and no words were exchanged. He just kind of raised it, got Rhino Page's attention, said, you may want to, you know, visually saying, you may want to scuff it up. He's like, duh. He did it, and boom, strikes started falling. Not sure how much pointers he'll be giving him in match today, though. The Rook is eyeing his first title. He's nothing but strikes so far.
Here's that half-pocket hit we've been talking about. And this mixer gives Rhino Page a 3-bagger and the lead. And you think he likes that one? Absolutely.
Opens up with a 3-bagger. You know what we're looking for now. Give that man a ham bone.
Come on, Medford.
Get your ham bone signs up.
Hey, Rob, I got a fever. And the only thing that can cure it is a prescription of
more ham bone.
That's right.
Gotta have more ham bone.
Explore your space, Rob.
Page starts off semi number 1 with 4 consecutive strikes. Allen has gone strike, strike, 9 spare.
And he's just being flat out rude to his coach and mentor there, Patrick Allen. I mean, that's no way to be. Guys helping you out and telling you to scuff your bowling ball so you can make it through the round of 8 and make television, and this is the way he thanks him.
He's driving you to events.
I mean, come on. You see that bowling ball is going to come off of the dry boards on the outside part of this cheetah pattern extremely hard and way too early, and it goes right through the face. Patrick leaving the 2-7. Not a good break there, kicking the 4-pin out late. And that's one of the risks of this cheetah pattern. The outside part of the lane's being dry. If the ball gets there too early, it actually overhooks.
Essentially, the outside part of the lane, just a thin little landing strip of dry boards. All the oil in the middle. And an open frame. Allen can't pick it up. 34-pin advantage right now for Rhino Page. Page seeking his first ever title. Again, he is a non-exempt player. Patrick Allen earned his 10th PBA Tour title earlier this season, looking for number 11. Let's see what Allen can do coming off that open frame. Nice adjustment. No pin standing.
Well, he rebounded nicely from the open frame, but right now Patrick Allen in jeopardy of losing this match in a hurry. He's 34 down now with a strike here in the 5th frame. For Rhino Page, he'll be down 44. Excuse me, Rob. The suspect lane, though, I think, is this right lane. Both shots for Rhino Page were light. Patrick Allen leaves the split in the last frame.
He's only needed 5 tosses so far. 5 balls, 5 strikes, and it's now the Motel 6, 6th frame. With the strike here in the 6th, Rhino Page will earn $600 from Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. He'll also be eligible for a $6,000 bonus if he throws the front 6 more than any other bowler on TV this season. Page has never won on television. He's starting this TV show with 5 straight strikes, looking for 6.
Well, I'm not sure what PA just said to Rhino Page, but it got a little chuckle out of him.
Couldn't pry it off.
And that's, couldn't pry it off. That's PA saying there. But if you're Patrick Allen, there's still a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel now that Rhino didn't throw the front 6 at him.
Takes care of that one. 5 strikes and a spare in the 6th. Rookie Rhino Page with a comfortable 43-pin advantage right now over Patrick Allen. The conclusion of semi number 1 when we return. The Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic is brought to you by Denny's. Denny's back to ESPN's continuing live coverage of the 2008 Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic, and the wife of the late Earl Anthony, Susie Anthony, here in attendance today. Currently living in North Plains, Oregon, and Susie has seen her share of good bowling. Earl Anthony passed away in 2001, 41 career titles. We take a look now at our Lumber Liquidators. Know the wood, the cheetah pattern.
Our shortest pattern of the named patterns out here, 35 feet. Fast because of the short pattern, you have to have your ball speed up. You've got the drive boards to the outside part of the lane. That's what the guys are going to use. They're going to use that as little bumpers on both sides. Use these as little bumpers. If you want to throw a little hook ball, you just kind of start a little bit further in and bump it into that. If you want to throw it really fast and hard, just get right on top of it and fire it right up the drive boards to the pocket.
It attempts to maximize the area on the lane with less wear and tear, which is usually right by those gutters. Our all-lefty first semifinal continues, and Rhino Page with a mammoth 43-pin lead right now. There's Patrick Allen, though, to begin the 6th for him, working off a strike. It has gone strike, strike, spare, open frame, strike for Allen.
Sweet. Okay, well, I was waiting for a response from Patrick before I give you my analogy of what just happened.
Randy.
See, now he's asking me a question while I'm talking.
It's pretty obvious.
Last time on that lane, he went high. This time he goes light. And what we call that is a little wet-dry reaction. If he gets to the dry too early, it overreacts. If he doesn't get it there, it underreacts.
And he was having some conversations during our television timeout with the staff up front about the oil pattern as well.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, looking from back here, to me, it looks like he's using a bowling ball that's too angular, meaning that it's hooking too much in the back part of the lane. Jeez. Something that's smoother, maybe a little bit more surface, so that when it does get to the dry, it doesn't overreact. And when he gets it into the oil, he's got some surface to help the ball still get to the pocket. You see how hard it came off at the end of the pattern there? And you heard him just say it, wrong ball.
And he admitted, again, last week in Rhino,
I need you here, Dougie.
he missed a ball change by about 4 or 5 frames.
He says, I need you here, Dougie, referring to
Don't know what I'm doing.
current player of the year, Doug Kent. He says he's got more help than Doug Kent when it comes to equipment. One of the reasons why he's so effective out here, he said Doug stands in the back and watches me throw it. He has a better idea of what bowling balls I should use than what he should use.
Yeah, he said he knows what balls to drill for me better than he knows for himself, but Allen is passing on that information to Rhino Page. And there is Page, and he said once Page figures out some of these things out, like some moves, some balls, what to do, when, some quicker decisions, all things that come in time, he's going to be the best lefty out there. Blows it up, but the 7 stands.
Good pitch.
Again, Page opened up semi-number 1 with 5 consecutive strikes.
And, you know, Rhino looks like a seasoned veteran out there on the lanes. Under the bright lights of television, all that pressure, I mean, he looks like he's been here 50 times. It's only his 3rd telecast.
Well, he's the number 2 average on the tour, 230.28. Taking care of that 7.
9th on the point list. And again, remember, this guy is not an exempt player. It's pretty amazing stuff.
As for a re-rack, he is winless on television, 0-2, and you alluded to this in the open as well. His opponent's averaging a ridiculous 272.5 versus him when he's on television. And we may see Page next week on television in the LA Orange County area. The Motel 6 Dick Weber Open coming away from Fountain Valley, California. 7th consecutive season that Fountain Valley has hosted the PBA. Live coverage on ESPN at 1 p.m. Eastern. Page in the 8th. Back-to-back spares.
Whoa. Okay, then. Sweet.
Both guys seem a little perplexed by the oil and conditions right now.
Yeah, a little confused. And the tough part of this leave that Rhino just left himself with is that back pin, trying to cover that back pin. And we always call this the toughest spare non-split on the tour, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. The good news this week is you can use the dry boards to the outside part of the lane. Makes this spare a whole lot easier.
2-4-7-8.
Did he yell 4?
He did.
Did you see me duck?
I don't want to shoot that one again.
Done perfectly. Uses the dry boards outside. He's like, all right, just carry the back pin. Does it nicely to remain clean through 8 frames. He's in the 230s. The best Patrick Allen can do if he strikes out is 225. That was a ball change.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it looks like Rhino Page is going to have a coach with him for the final. Picks up the spare, but that hole keeps growing, and he has very little time to dig out of it. 41 pin advantage for Rhino Page.
Yeah, Rhino just needs to stay behind the foul line and fill it one of the 2 remaining frames, and he's going to bowl for the title. Patrick Allen, the best he can shoot now is 213. And one of the hardest things to do is make the right decision right before air. You've got a 1-game match. If it doesn't work out or you make the wrong choice, it spells disaster. And obviously you can see, based on that reaction, that it was the wrong choice in equipment, because this week it certainly wasn't that difficult to get your ball to the pocket on either side of the lane.
Allen has never won a title on this cheetah oil pattern, and that streak will continue. Picks this up. This will be his 4th consecutive spare.
He's still on a heck of a run, though. 4 shows in a row, 1 win. Creeping up that Player of the Year point race. Just a few points now behind Walter A. Williams, Jr.
This week, Allen became the 17th bowler in history to make 4 consecutive TV shows. We're not sure if we're going to see him next week in L.A. Yesterday, he said, I'm just riding it, and that streak's going to end next week. We asked him why. He said, I'm not going to bowl. And he came over to us today and said, it's not 100% committed that I'm not going to bowl next week. He's definitely going down to L.A., and he's going to hang out, do some golf. He's going to go see the Ducks play Tuesday in Anaheim and make it a mini vacation. He may or may not bowl. We'll find out when we get there.
Well, it's interesting because the left side of the lane with all the traffic, something that they're not generally accustomed to, is getting a little goofy. Remember, we only have 1 right-hander on the show, and he's one of the most intimidating players on the Denny's PBA Tour. So it'll be interesting to see what type of ball reaction Wes Malott has. And if he has a good one, it probably should be there for a while because he's the only righty.
And Parker Bohn III, another lefty coming up in semifinal number 2, loves making adjustments. Feels that's a huge advantage for him.
Neither one of these lefties can make their ball get to the 1-2 pocket. So adjustments will have to be made.
Page will move on, and he'll have a lot of time to think about the lane conditions, and I think he'll have a pretty keen eye on semifinal number 2 and see how the lanes react for the other lefty, Parker Bohn III.
Here comes an experimental shot right here.
And that's part of the maturation process, part of becoming a veteran. Is you got the match in hand. Let's see if we can find something that'll help you win the title. May want to keep that ball handy.
One more.
And I like that attitude. One more. This job is certainly not complete. At 2:30 for Page, we'll see him through.
It's been a nice streak for PA. Let's see if he can keep it going into next week. Make 5 in a row.
This is 6th top 10 finish of the season and 4th in a row where he'll be in the top 4. The last 4 weeks have gone in order for him. 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place. And we'll find out what his final spot will be this week after semifinal number 2. It'll be no worse than 4th.
PA 2nd in points, 3rd in money.
Falls to 2 and 4 on television this year, though.
5th in average. It's pretty good.
Thanks, Medford. You guys are great.
Well, he started off strong.
Well,
A pair of strikes to open it up for Patrick Allen. After that, just one more.
Letting that clip out. That's what I think. I mean, they're so wet dry on that friggin' spot now. I mean,
231.90 as we take a look at our CLR clean sweep, and it was an opening ham bone for Rhino Page. That propelled him to victory here in the semi. 5 opening strikes for Page, but after that, it was nothing but spares. When we return, we get you set for our 2nd semifinal and talk live to a Hall of Famer. We welcome you back to ESPN's continuing live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour, coming your way from Lava Lanes here in Medford, Oregon. It's the Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic. PBA is proud to announce the launch of its new online video service called Extra Frame. Subscribers have access to select matches from the round of 8, exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes features, archive telecasts, and the new live scoring feature called Pin Mapping. Just head on over to PBA.com and click on the Extra Frame link to sign up. Well, one of Medford's finest. You like that, huh? Marshall Holman, inducted into PBA Hall of Fame in 1990. enjoying those hairdos. What is that, velour? Was that velvet?
I had enough hair to last a long time.
That's a good look for you. 22 career titles, 1987 Player of the Year. Grew up in Medford and lives here as well. The Medford Meteor. You are one of the top 3 most famous people in Medford behind Kirstie Alley and Ginger Rogers, correct?
That's not a bad thing.
No. There's worse people to be paired up with. Tell me about bowling in this community and just how important it is.
Well, Rob, Rick Donnelly and his staff just do a magnificent job as far as running lava lanes, and the whole town, the whole county gets involved, and the place is packed every day. People really enjoy watching the guys bowl, and Dan LaFana, the Deli Down, is here with his brother. They're feeding the bowlers, they're spoiling them. It's a great time.
Marshall, I was a big fan of your. I idolized you as I was growing up and wanting to be on the tour because of your intensity and how much fun you had on the lanes. How much do you miss the competition?
Well, I miss the competition a lot. I miss being good, but at 53 years of age, even if I were to practice just as hard as I could, there's just no way that I can compete against Rhino Page, Patrick Allen, the Wes Malott, Parker Bohn. I don't want to bowl against you, Randy.
Marshall, we appreciate your time. We apologize for the microphone issues we had as we take a look at your Hall of Fame ring, and member of the Oregon State Hall of Fame as well. Marshall Holman, thanks for joining us here and talking more PBA, the Motel 6 text winner last week. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but first, semifinal number 2 coming up. Wes Malott taking on Parker Bohn III. 33 career titles between these two. Wes Malott, again, the only righty on today's show. Last week, we gave you the Motel 6 question of the week. And we asked you what city should host the 2008 Motel 6 Roll to Riches. And the winner, Randy, your text messaging paid off. Orlando.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I get to sleep in my bed that week.
We get to go to Orlando. We'll have another Motel 6 text to vote question coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll ask you what oil pattern it should be right now. But right now, it's the Vitorin split screen of our upcoming semifinal. 2
different ways to get your ball to the pocket. The big nasty with all that power on the left. Parker Bohn, kid smooth on the right. 2 beautiful strikes.
Semi number 2 when we return. This is the 7th consecutive season the PBA has been here at Lava Lanes, and we thank Rick Donnelly, the GM here at Lava Lanes.
There's not too many that do a better job than Rick Donnelly and his staff. One of the best proprietors in the country right there.
I've yet to meet a bowler or anyone associated with the event this week who has not enjoyed their time in Medford. Rhino Page has moved on to the final. He's seeking his first ever title game. He'll be taking on the winner of Wes Malott and Parker Bohn III. Here's semifinal number 2. Parker Bohn, the Hall of Fame lefty, will start us off.
Wow, gave him the bucket to start. Remember, his last win, with all the left-handed traffic that he had on that show, he had to make a lot of adjustments, and he was masterful. Taking home that title in Spartanburg.
Up now, Wes Malott, 6'5", 250. I'm not talking about a defensive lineman. I'm talking about a bowler. The big nasty from Argyle, Texas. An effortless toss. And we start with strikes for both.
I like to call it efficiency of motion. It doesn't look like he's using a whole lot of energy, but he creates a ton of power. The big nasty, Wes Malott, looking for his 3rd career title. Parker Bohn III just won his 31st title just a couple of weeks ago.
And Malott doing some work on the holes right now.
Tape job.
And I think we knew today was going to be an afternoon of adjustments with the 3 lefties and the lane conditions. And Wes kind of sitting pretty. It's something new for a righty, where he's got his little part of the lane all to himself all day long. It's really on him. If he fails to win, you almost have to blame him.
Yes, baby.
Because he's got ideal, pristine conditions. That may be a little harsh.
No, I think it's spot on. I mean, right now for Wes Malott, it's kind of like practicing by yourself with a TV crew there filming it. He doesn't have anybody in his way. The only guy in his way is him.
And he starts with a double back-to-back strikes. Parker Bohn opened up with the strike. Here's his effort in the second. And another strike. His wife, Leslie, back home in Jackson, New Jersey. He got her a popcorn machine for Christmas. So Leslie and Justin, his son, watching Dad bowl on Sunday, said make it like PBA at the movies on Sunday. Just kick back with the popcorn on the couch and watch Dad roll.
It's like an afternoon matinee.
It's fantastic.
Love it.
Reduced prices as well.
Break out the popcorn, couple of sodas, and let's have a party.
This is Parker's 104th career TV singles appearance, tied for 4th all time.
Ooh. What are you doing?
That one a little heavy.
And that's that overreaction that we saw in the first match. Rhino Page and Patrick Allen, that one gets a little bit to the left and just overhooks. The good break not splitting, only leaving the 4-7.
Parker told us yesterday he's looking forward to the transition of the lanes. He knows it'll be a little bit tighter in the beginning, then they'll start breaking down, and he believes that's an advantage for him. He likes playing that adjustment game. And I've heard that from him a couple times this season. We had the all-lefty show in Spartanburg, South Carolina, that he won, and he was really looking forward to that opportunity to kind of play some mind games with the lanes. Wes opens with the triple.
Big, nasty. Look at our Etonic edge. Wes Malott, 6'5" frame. Very unusual way he approaches the lane conditions. Notice how he's visualizing the arc. Then he takes a step and pulls his thumb out and slides it back in. And the most unusual part about what he does is he looks straight down at the foul line. That's where his target is.
His ball doesn't really read the lanes as early as most bowlers due to that release. Long arms, tall body creates a longer flat spot. And elbow!
Yeah!
My turn.
Remember, he's saying my turn because he lost to Michael Haugen earlier in the season. He needed the first strike in the 10th and left a vicious ring in 10. He feels like he's overdue. Watch this pin carry here. He gets that one left of target. The ball holds line. Pin comes across. What a huge break.
Bohn follows suit. 3 out of 4 frames have been strikes for the Hall of Famer, the 2-time PBA Player of the Year. He won it in '99 and the 01-02 season. 31 career titles, 3 shy of Mark Roth and Pete Weber, who are tied for 3rd at 34. Let's see how he made his way here to the semis in Medford. This will be his 3rd top 5 finish of the season.
Pretty good shot there on his only result as a week 7. We talked to Parker about winning his 31st title. A lot of players and folks had kind of written him off, saying, you know, his winning days are gone. And I said, Parker, you know, how did you feel about that win? He says, Randy, just to quote the late, great Dick Weber, winning never gets old.
Yeah, he said the confidence really was elevated with that win. And, you know, being in the winning circle always feels good. On the season, he felt he bowled okay, but felt he was missing something. It was a minor timing issue. And it feels like he's got the whole package going right now. You know, the whole package so far is Wes Malott. 4 frames, 4 strikes. No pin standing. Rhino Page, who's already moved on to the final, opened up his semifinal with 5 straight strikes. Wes Malott following suit, and it's now the Motel 6 6th frame. If Wes can convert here with a strike, he'll earn $600 from Motel 6, which is the official lodging partner of the PBA. He'll also be eligible for a $6,000 bonus if he throws the front 6 more than any other bowler on TV this season. Does he have a 6-pack in him?
One time for Motel 6.
Oh, he knows it!
Right there.
Give him the check!
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Perfection so far in semi number 2 for the big nasty, Wes Malott. He's only needed to toss 6 balls. They've equated to 6 strikes and a 42-pin advantage. About midway through semi number 2, the winner will take on Rhino Page. The Lumber Liquid Anthony Medford Classic is brought to you by Atonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Atonic, first one there. By Prescription Flow Maps. By H&R Block. When you got H&R Block, you got people. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. Great look at one of the many scenic spots in and around Medford. That is Crater Lake, located about 75 miles away in the Cascade Mountain Range. For more information about the Medford area, click on to www.visitmedford.org. Medford at 42.3 degrees north, nearly halfway between the equator and the North Pole. I have more useless information for you later. There's the Aaron's Dream Seats. 2 lucky fans upgraded to watch today's telecast from there.
You know what they're missing?
I don't.
The popcorn machine.
Ah. We'll have to talk to Parker about that. Maybe he can find a buy one, get one free deal. That strike coming off the spare. That'll help cut into the deficit. But so far, Wes Malott has been perfect.
Well, this is a nice break for Parker, but it won't matter if he can't start stringing strikes. Nice hit there and tripping the 6th.
Parker Bohn III, the all-time tour leader with 78 career 300 games. He also leads the PBA in asking us for shout-outs to family members and friends during our meetings.
That's better.
There we go. He gave us 2 yesterday. So let's get him out of the way. His son, Parker IV, is a senior in high school. His bowling team at Pope John Paul II High School in Nashville, Tennessee is undefeated. So Dad wanted to send out a shout-out to him and also to Evan. Took a little fall this week in wrestling. Left side of his body still a little numb, laying on his back. So Evan, get well better, and Parker, keep on rolling strikes like your dad's doing here. Speaking of strikes, Wes Malott, 6 frames, 6 strikes. How about 7 in a row, Big Wes?
Safe.
I almost moved.
Now it's time for a little adjustment. He'll make that on the right lane.
All right.
This is a great break for him, not splitting on this shot. Spare, he'll maintain a 31-pin lead. Wes Malott now is in the 240s. Well, let's not count out our southpaw friend yet. Parker Bohn III can strike out and shoot 258. Wes Malott did defeat 2 lefties in match play this week, Andrew Kane and Ryan Simonelli.
He then beat the defending champ Sean Rash 4-0.
Yeah, he swept Sean. Ended up as our only right-hander on the telecast today.
There we go. Back to the good stuff. Wes took last week off in Reno. He's not a big fan of that venue as far as how it works with his bowling style. Plus, it was on the backside of the holiday break, so he had an extended time to stay fresh. And stay focused. And he's not a big practice guy. He reminds us of that every time we talk to him. He said, maybe a little bit more this week. I did some practicing just to get my timing back, but otherwise, he prefers to stay away from it. Says it does really more harm than good. Like you said, Parker needed to string some strikes together. 9's not going to cut it.
Yeah, no trip 6 this time for Parker Bohn III, and he's in trouble now. Again, this ball bites just a little too early down the lane and just a pinch high. Left side of the lane, because of the traffic, has broken down. The oil pattern has broken down, has become very sensitive on that side. The only way for folks at home to experience what Parker's going through as a southpaw and what Wes Malott has on his side of the lane is to join a PBA Experience League. Bowl on the same patterns our guys bowl on week in and week out. Beauty there. You see that time the 4-pin goes to the sidewall and cuts the 7 out. When you see that type of pin action, you know your ball's entering the pocket the correct way.
Parker has made nice adjustments. I'm looking at his score sheet right now. There are no back-to-back spare frames. It's all right, I got a spare here, and then it's a strike. A spare here, then it's a strike. So he's figuring it out quickly, but the way Wes is bowling, you need a couple extra frames to catch up to him. I mean, it's like he's got something against those 10 pins. A vendetta.
Be confident.
There's your adjustment. And again, efficiency of motion. Watch how effortless this routine looks here. And look at the power that he generates at the bottom of the swing. If you slow-mo his wrist release and what he does at the bottom of the swing, that's where it all happens. He gets that cup, he gets his fingers on the other side of the bowling ball, and he just flips his hand around the side. Then.
Wow. 7-10.
Hey, that was a pretty good try.
Only 3 times has this been picked up on television. The last one came in 1991 in Tucson.
Yeah, and this is a very odd leave because this ball looks like it's a perfect strike hit. Watch where the ball enters. You've got a ringing 10 with pins that just go right by the 7-pin. Very unusual.
He's got the power to pick this up.
Without question.
10-pin took one for the team.
It didn't matter. He didn't need a mark in the 10th frame because the best Parker Bohn can shoot is 237.
So Wes Malott moves on with his 245. He'll take on the rookie, Rhino Page. This is a pretty strong match bowled by Parker Bohn as he had to figure out some conditions on his side of the lane after 2 lefties bowled before him.
Another nice year for Parker.
2.5 hour delayed trip 4 wasn't anything. Oh, that was 2.5 minutes.
I have no idea what he's talking about. Do you, Rob?
Well, he's doing it with a smile on his face. That's all I care about. Another strike.
Got that one down.
Third show of the season. He's already won.
Good, you can just do it on call. Why don't you go ahead and try and triple the 4?
What do you want me to try to do this time for you?
It's like they're playing horse out here. Wes is calling the shot, and let's see if Parker can follow.
You can strike now.
Oh, I can strike now? You're okay with that?
Now I am. I'm always okay with that.
You're
Parker.
all heart.
And a game showing from the Hall of Famer Parker Bohn only ended up losing by 10 pins.
Hey, Jordan, Camden, honey. It's a long 3 weeks, but we'll be home soon enough, and this makes it a lot sweeter.
Wes Malott with a shout-out to his wife, Meredith. And his kids, Jordan and Camden. The Argyle, Texas native moves on to the final. He'll take on the powerful rookie, Rhino Page. We'll get you set for the final, the 2008 Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic, when we return. We are 27 miles north of the California border here in Medford, Oregon for the Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, thanks for making us a part of your Sunday afternoon as we close in on our championship game. But we want to remind you, This season, the PBA and Motel 6 are giving fans the unique chance to vote on different elements of the winner-take-all 2008 Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Now, this week's question that you have to text in is, what oil pattern do you want the pros to compete on? Your options: chameleon, cheetah, scorpion, viper. Last week, we got to vote on the venue, and Randy, we won. It was Orlando. So what oil pattern are you texting in this week?
I think I'm going to text in scorpion. I think we put scorpion out, we're going to see the most strikes.
You can text in up to 10 times per day until Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Take a look now at our Geico Championship recap.
You want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay, here you go. Semifinal number 1, Rhino Page defeated Patrick Allen by the score of 230 to 190. Pupil versus teacher. The student has learned well.
I think you got to get surface pro, and you got to blend that clip out.
Semifinal number 2, the Big Nasty. He defeated Parker Bohn III by the score of 245 to 235. The Nasty got off quick with the front 6 strikes.
So our championship match is set. Rhino Page taking on Wes Malott. Both of them opened up their semifinal matches with 5 straight strikes. The Big Nasty taking on the future of lefty bowling in PBA, Rhino Page. Page looking for his first tour title. Wes seeking his 3rd. Two differing styles, a lefty versus the lone righty. We begin our title match when we return to Medford. Hello. Situated in the remains of ancient volcanic flow areas, we are at Lava Lanes here in Medford, Oregon for the Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic as we get set for our title match. Rhino Page, the rookie, seeking his first tour title, taking on the Big Nasty, Wes Malott. And Wes will open us up. He started his semifinal with 6 consecutive strikes, concluded with 8 total. He has been in a world of his own today. No other righties on the show. The right side of these lanes have been all Wes.
The players got practice prior to the start of the title match, and Wes Malott goes to an equipment change. A little bit smoother arcing bowling ball. And so far, looks pretty good.
That may be one of the earlier adjustments I've ever witnessed.
Well, he saw it in practice. He goes to a ball that picks up a little bit sooner and is smoother down the lane.
Now, Page opened up the semifinal with 5 straight strikes. After that, it was nothing but spare. She opens up the final with another strike.
Ball change for him as well, and it looks like he's moved much further into the middle part of the lane. He's going to arc it more during this match. Yeah, that's a big step to the right for him, and he's going to circle it this game. Both players are going to use the drive boards as bumpers. They're going to try to throw it into that. Remember, the danger is if you mishit it or miss the release at the bottom of the swing and you get it going in that direction, it could go in, you could get 0.
Rhino Page told us yesterday, I need to trust myself more. Quit grinding through things. Don't be so stubborn. Make the adjustments when you feel it, and he has done that. And so far, it's paying off. Will it pay off with the double? You bet it will.
Who says lefties can't move in? Come on.
Well, we're going to have a match. Rhino's, he figured something out. I'm sure that Patrick Allen probably talked to him during the break. Maybe gave him a suggestion.
So it goes back to Malott. Trying to open up with the turkey here in the final. Three in a row. Scratch that. 2 in a row.
Beautiful form for a big man. Lots of revolutions, lots of axis rotation, lots of strikes.
With his power and rev rate, he was telling us his really lone downfall is going straight.
He says sometimes he doesn't always have to. I mean, he can go a little bit straighter, and he's worked on that.
Opening three-bagger.
Yeah, good-looking ball reaction. It's blending the pattern out, so now when he gets it to the right, it doesn't overbounce. When he gets it in, it'll still make the turn. In between second and third arrow at 15 feet, out to about the third board. And watch this react. It's all about pin carry now. Both these players are going to hit the pocket.
This to stay even.
Or do something sweet.
Oh, boy.
That's the risk. You move in, and you're going to arc it. You have to get it far enough to the left so the ball will react. You have to get it far enough to the left into the friction zone.
This oil pattern really kind of sets up a risk-reward type scenario for the bowlers today. Just 1 for 8 on split conversions this week as Rhino Page guns it towards the 7, try to slam it off and pick up the spare. No luck to an open frame for Rhino Page, the first from him this afternoon. Our Flomax Weekly Update focuses on that young man, Rhino Page. Finished 84th last week in Reno. The 2 weeks prior to that was a 5th place and a 2nd place finish.
And for the folks that really follow the tour closely, they're saying, well, there's only 64 players in the field. That's because he never made it out of the pre-tournament qualifying round.
Again, Rhino Page, a non-exempt player. And
hate that pin.
7 pins standing up for him. Again, in the semifinal, he opened up with 5 straight strikes, but 6 through 10 were spares. So he was unable to get back that strike groove, and right now he starts with 2 strikes, and now he's looking at open frame and a potential spare.
Oh, now you bounce. 1 shot too late.
So Page needs to get back on the strike format because that's all Wes Malott has thrown here in the final. The conclusion of today's title match. When we return, you're watching the PBA Tour live on ESPN. I'd like to thank Brian Anderson and Lumber Liquidators, our title sponsors, for putting on this week's Earl Anthony Medford Classic, live from Lava Lanes here in Medford, Oregon.
Do you think Brian could get me a deal on flooring? Because I'm thinking about going to hardwood.
I'm going to hunt him down because I got some wood I need too as well at home. Let's go get a card after this. Coming up next on the Denny's PBA Tour, we head down to the LA Orange County area. The Fountain Bowl in Fountain Valley, California, live Sunday at 1 Eastern. It's the Motel 6 Dick Weber Open. And then we head to Vegas, the H&R Block Tournament of Champions. A special start time, 12:30 Eastern, live on ESPN. Rhino Page, the rookie, has done some adjusting.
This is how he was playing in the first semifinal match. You see how much further to the left and how much straighter he was going. But remember how tricky and goofy the lanes got and how sensitive. So here's the adjustment. He moves in, and now he's trying to create more angle to get away from that wet-dry reaction that he's got.
Right now, Page down 24 pins. Wes Malott opened up the semifinal with 6 straight strikes, looking to go 4 in a row right now.
And if the adjustment Rhino makes doesn't work, he can always try to give Wes a code red. You know I was going to get that in.
I know.
You need me on your tour. You want me on your tour.
Did you hear how quiet this place got? All in anticipation of a ham bone. Respect the ham bone.
Eyes at the foul line. Just a super clean release. No grab. Load up. And then just let go of it. And now he's very confident that the ball change that he made from semifinal number 2 to this match is the correct one. So now he's got confidence, a lot of skill, and really good pin carry.
And a 34-pin lead. Not much you can do when your opponent throws nothing but strikes. Again, remember, coming into today, Rhino Page's 2 opponents on television averaged a 272.5. Huge numbers. Didn't like that one. You heard the oh boy.
All right, come on.
Well, there goes our 300 game. Only 2 300 games rolled this week. 49 this season.
That ball never got started on line. It was started way left. Check out his release here.
So he's just backing away from it, hoping he gets some residual pins to go down. You know, don't be too ugly.
Yeah, just trying to avoid the split and leave himself a relatively easy spare, and that's what he's done, the 3-6. Well, a little bit of breathing room for Rhino Page. He needs to start stringing some strikes here. A strike in the 5th and a strike in the 6th. He can cut the deficit to 22.
Just the 3rd rookie ever and first since Mike Durbin in 1967 to make 3 championship rounds is Rhino Page, looking to become the first bowler to win a title in his rookie season since Sean Rash did it in '06. That'll get him back into it.
It's a good thing he's young because he's bowling a lot more games than everybody else. Remember, there's 7 games in the TQR every week, so he's got 7 games before they even start qualifying for the tournament proper. Beautiful shot here. 1-2 solid. Now looking to cut the deficit to 22.
And with all that bowling, he has built up that left forearm to Popeye-type proportions.
He's not injecting himself, is he?
No. He is all natural.
Rack. God.
I think if you speak to the players this week and ask them about the oil pattern, a lot of them are going to say that the left side played really well. And what happens when you put an oil pattern out and it's equal both left and right, the right side goes through much more transition. The left side doesn't see as much transition. And so generally speaking, the left side of the lane will be a little bit better. Today, it's the exact opposite. With all the traffic on the left side of the lane, they're seeing exactly what the righties go through. In qualifying, remember, there's only about 6 or 7 exempt left-handed bowlers. And that's not going to tear the lanes apart like it does when you've got 50, 58, 55, whatever the math is. You've got that many more right-handed bowlers, especially when you got guys with the rev rate of Wes Malott, Tommy Jones. Really tears the oil pattern apart.
Yes, sir. Back on the strike path. Malott, essentially a self-taught bowler, doesn't practice much because, as he says, he creates bad habits by going fast. Timing gets all whacked out. During the winter break, took that extra week off by not bowling in Reno last week. He bowled 4 times total during that break. He said he subbed in the league twice and bowled 2 local tournaments. That was it.
Sir, come on.
And that's big, and that's nasty. And that's why he's the big nasty.
Get the engraver out. 42-pin cushion now for Malott. 7 frames, 6 strikes.
Watch the reaction to this when he knows that this is just going to put him further ahead. He's like, oh yeah, it's getting down to crunch time.
So far today, just 3 non-strike frames for Malott. Page working a spare, gets a strike.
And it looks like he's got to be perfect on this left lane coming up in order to catch a strike. He's only struck once on the left lane. in the title match. The other two shots have been both 7 pins. He can strike out for 236. Wes Malott already in the 230s, working on a double.
A little heavy on that one. Fortunate to have just 1 pin remaining.
And again, we talk about the wet-dry reaction on the left side of the lane. This one's going to get a little bit too far to the left. It's going to overreact. Very hard for people to understand that because they don't bowl on this pattern. So what do you mean? You can use the dry boards to the right or the left, depending on what hand you're throwing it with, and the ball should just go to the pocket. Problem is, when you get there too quick, it overhooks. It's a fine line. Wes Malott's blended this pattern out beautifully. A lot due to the fact that he's the only right-hander on that side of the lane today. Huge advantage. A lot of second-place finishes. This man looking to win again. Is it his day or what?
Call the engraver.
He's been summoned.
He was second in both of his TV appearances this season. In fact, Randy, he's placed second in 4 of his last 5 TV shows coming into today.
52-pin lead. He can strike out for 278. Just got the biggest break of the week right there.
It's all right. Oh, boy.
This match all but over. Wes Malott in the 240s, the best Rhino page, can shoot 216. Wes Malott's going to win for the 3rd time in his career.
Spare, and it is over.
Spare and done.
Title number 3 for the big nasty Wes Malott.
Yes, baby. Yeah.
Rhino Page will finish up now. Strong outing this week from the rookie, particularly after his weak outing last week in Reno.
Yeah, he made mention of the fact that he does not like the shark pattern, but he'll figure out a way to bowl on that. And each week he says he's learning more and more out here. It's a learning experience. Remember, you've got to be in this for the long haul. He's getting a taste of early success. You can't get frustrated. Just steady the course.
Asked him to describe how the season has gone, and 2 words jumped out that he said: unimaginable and gosh. You know, I mean, when somebody's saying gosh to you, you know the kid is all right. You know, I thought I hit its peak, and then I'm back on another TV show. And holy cow, Patrick Allen said that about me? Well, that was awfully nice of him. I mean, this is a good kid who's becoming an excellent man on a PBA tour.
You know, last week was a good experience for him. He even said so. He said it was humbling, finishing 84th after I made back-to-back shows. He says it was a learning experience, and you can't take anything for granted out here.
Has the number 2 average on the tour, trailing only Walter Ray Williams Jr., number 9 on the PBA World Point Rankings, number 14 on the money list. He'll get himself a $13,000 check today.
Couldn't pry it off. Sorry, Wojo.
Not a lot of rookie hazing for this kid, because I think the players know he's going to be somebody they're going to have to be dealing with for a long time.
You're great. You're the greatest. Great tournament last day. Over here, man. Thank you. You'll get it. You know that.
Nice encouraging words for Malott. And this week he was the great right hope, the only righty in this field of 4 here on television. Had that side of the lane all to himself and made the most of it.
Go ahead and get one in there.
And another.
You know, I used to throw it like that back in my dreams.
$1,000 man right here.
You're rolling soon, though, again, aren't you? Are we seeing you in Vegas on the lanes?
I'll be at the Tournament of Champions, yes, sir. I'm back in the TSC, man.
Oh, man.
Better start practicing. What a great week for Malott. You know, in a lot, I know that ring in 10 he left against Michael Haugen that gave Michael Haugen his first title. I know that really ate at him. He made a great shot, and unfortunately, it doesn't always work out in your favor. This week, different story.
Malott lost in the semis here in Medford last season. Coming into today, number 4 on the PBA World Point Rankings, was number 1 last season.
This is what it is all about right here.
And the veteran getting in some subtle plugs as we lay out for him. $255 and a Rolex.
Right here. Jordan, you put this one on the case, buddy, and you can hold it up when we get home. This is awesome. Thanks, guys.
He rolled a 245 in the semi.
You guys have been there for me all the way.
Topped it by 10 in the final. Career title number 3 to Wes Malott. We'll be back to wrap it up from Medford after this. Classic is brought to you by Aaron's. Nobody beats Aaron's. Nobody. By CLR. All kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. Harry and David, the largest direct marketer of fruits and food gifts based here in Medford. And Medford has just seen Wes Malott win the 2008 Lumber Liquidators Earl Anthony Medford Classic. Take a look at our CLR clean sweep. Wes Malott in the championship match opened up the first 4 frames with nothing but strikes. Had 9 X's total en route to a 255-193 victory over Rhino Page. Randy Peterson standing by with our winner.
Hey, Rob, I'm trying to see if Wes will swap watches with me.
I thought I was going to get this thing last year, and Sean took it away from me, so I'm sorry, you're not getting this one. This one's mine.
You know, I really look up to you. No, I mean it.
Literally.
Because you're taller than me.
I don't know why.
How does it feel winning your 3rd title?
Well, this is unbelievable. You know, it's great. It's a great venue here at Lava Lanes. We love to come here every year. Last night I bowled the Calcutta Pro-Am with Randy and his wife Patty and a couple other guys and had a blast, and this just tops it all off.
Let's talk about what kind of an advantage it was being the only right-hander on the telecast today.
Well, I mean, if you look back in Baltimore when I made the show there, I mean, we obviously beat the lanes up on the right side with 6 guys. And, you know, that was one of my things this week that I had talked about once we got to the show. I mean, hopefully they were going to have to go through a little transitions. If you noticed the first game, there wasn't a strike after we came back from the commercial break from Patrick and Rhino, and they were just going through transitions. And fortunately, I made a bunch of really good shots, and I knew I still had to bowl well, and here we are in the winner's circle.
What made you decide to use that bowling ball, make that bowling ball change?
Well, I mean, you know, even with myself being the only one out there, I still beat the lanes up pretty well with my rev rate and everything. And I was also using a strong ball, and I beat it up the first game pretty good. And I knew I had to go to a weaker shell and go around them a little bit more. That's what I had done all week. And I just trusted myself and made good shots. And like I said, here we are.
You'd like to thank a couple of people, don't you? Here's your shot, buddy.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we have the beautiful place here at Lava Lanes, and Rick Donnelly and his staff. It's a great place. Obviously, Lumber Liquidators for sponsoring our tournament, Denny's for being our title sponsor, and there's two more people I want to thank. That's Columbia 300 and Chad Murphy for believing in me and bringing me here, and also my wife back home for taking care of our kids and allowing me to be out here. It's great.
Congratulations. No more cracking, only the Big Nasty, right?
The Big Nasty is in town.
Now, this is his 4th top 10 finish of the season and his first title of the season, 3rd overall. Be sure to join us next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, for the Motel 6 Dick Weber Open coming your way from Fountain Valley, California. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The Rolex, the $25,000 title, goes to Wes Malott, the Big Nasty from Texas. Coming up next here on ESPN, Women's Billiards. For Randy and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. So long from Medford. We'll see you from Orange County next week.